We also, by the way, have Hamas spokespeople themselves saying that Palestinians are not really a thing. It's just a nation that came together by people who are from Egypt and Saudi Arabia and Jordan and things like that. But you know what? It doesn't matter to me. I feel like this is just a lot of talk about something that in the end shouldn't really matter. What should matter is that at the beginning of the last century, a land was taken. The land was taken by the British from the Ottomans, who took it by force and ran it as their own property as well. It was then the public land was distributed to the Jewish people to build a home for Jews, and they had every right to do that. And also there were private lands owned by Arabs there. Lots of the private land was bought by the Jews, by the Zionists from the Arabs. Lots of other land was not bought. It still stayed part of their land. So nothing at all was taken by force, was taken through invasion, was taken through any of that stuff, up until the Arabs began inciting a civil war, where the Zionists initially only defended themselves, but then also began fighting, where you then saw militant Jewish groups emerge. And while the idea at first by the British was to establish one state, which would be a Jewish state where Arabs and Jews live equally, they quickly realized it does not work. So what they decided instead at the United Nations was to partition that land and give much of the land owned by Jews and the unpopulated land to the Jews, and give the rest of it, much of it was populated by Arabs, to the Arabs, so that they could both have states there, live separately, and find peace. And of course, the Zionist side said, okay, yeah, whatever, we'll just accept that. And the Arab side said, nope, we are not accepting this. We want all of it. So the British left, the partition, the mandate was over. The Zionists declared their own state, called it Israel, said, we acknowledge that the Arabs will probably build their own state and call it Palestine. And that's actually how good and how okay they were with the situation. And what the Arabs did, instead of building that state, was to ally with 5 Arab nations and to attack Israel with the aim of taking all of it and turning it into one land, which would become their own state, or it would become part of Egypt, or part of Jordan, or part of Syria, or part of one great Arab nation. This is what happened. And it all started there, when at that point, the Arabs could have chosen to simply establish a state for themselves, which even the Jews were ready from the very beginning to acknowledge. The Arabs rejected it. And to this day, we are still suffering the consequences of that. If you think that somehow people came in and invaded and grabbed that land and all of that, yes, of course, over the years, especially after that first war in 1948, Israel did grab land. Israel did take more than was actually assigned to them during the UN partition plan. But can you blame them? I personally don't blame them. I would have taken all of it. If I was a person in that place, I would have taken all of it. I would have said, get out of here. I'm taking all of this. Because they had a plan to establish 2 states in that region. And the Arabs didn't want that plan. They wanted to take all of it and eradicate the Zionist entity. And Israel, as a result of winning wars over and over and over again, simply expanded and took more than they were assigned to. If it was me, if I was a person and I was Israel, I would kick them out and take all of it at that point in the 1940s. Go cry, come here and cry about colonialism, about expansion, about this and that. It's all their fault. I don't care. That's it. Nakba, you say. Nukakula, you say Nakba. Nakba is what happened with the moving of Arabs from the regions who were not allowed to come back anymore, which I think is completely justified. Half of them or so, many of them, 700,000 was estimated. Many of them left by themselves because they wanted to leave because there would be war, with the idea when things calm down and the Zionists are finally gone, we will come back and we will have this land. Many of them were also expelled by the Zionists as a result of all of this. And the Zionists, after that, said, sorry, we will not allow those people who left to come back and live here. That's it.